Question number 1 relates to climate change. Climate change has always existed but underwent a rapid acceleration at the beginning of the 20th century. Climate change is a natural phenomenon that has always existed. Geology has shown, however, that natural climatic variations happen over very long timescales, from centuries to millennia. Recently, though, and particularly in the last 30 years, there has been an anomalous increase in the planet's average temperature, rising by about 1 degree in less than 100 years. This increase is concentrated particularly in the polar regions, where the increase in temperature is much greater than the rest of the planet. This increase in the average world temperature has potentially dangerous implications for the Earth system, as we are already beginning to see. Question 2. Scientists cannot predict what the climate will be like in 50 years' time, because it is difficult even to predict what the weather will be like next week. Weather forecasts describe the short-term, 1 day, 1 week, environmental conditions at a specific location at a specific time. It is difficult to predict the weather because it is strongly influenced by the conditions prevailing at the moment. Climate, on the other hand, is the average weather in a particular region over a period of usually 30 years. Changes are much slower, influenced by external factors that act more slowly. No one can predict what the temperature will be in 30 years' time on a particular day in a particular place, but we can certainly estimate the average variation. Question number 3 refers to global warming. Present global warming is just a normal and natural process. Scientists now agree that the increase observed in global temperature is due to the increase in greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide and methane, that increase the phenomenon known as the greenhouse effect, which is to say the ability of the plant to retain, in the form of heat, part of the energy coming from the sun. The increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is linked to human activity, beginning in the mid-19th century with the Industrial Revolution. Since the end of the Second World War, climate observers have detected a further acceleration in the increase of concentration in the atmosphere. Question number 4 talks about whether global warming and climate change are one and the same thing. Global warming is just one aspect, the most immediate and easiest to measure of a much larger and more complex phenomenon, climate change. However, global temperature increases bring about a whole series of local effects, from melting glaciers to rising ocean levels, to increased frequency of extreme events such as heat waves and exceptionally intense rainfall, to name but a few. Question 5 questions the indication of climate change and increasing human pressure on the environment, whether they are causes of the COVID-19 pandemic. There is no direct causal link between climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. There is, however, the possibility that climate change is creating new distribution maps of emerging infectious diseases, i.e. those that appear for the first time in a population or that increase their geographic spread. These relate particularly to biological and mechanical vectors such as insects and flies. Furthermore, it is common knowledge that the increasing pressure of humankind on nature and the destruction or fragmentation of natural spaces mean that wild animals are forced into agricultural or outer urban areas, increasing the risk of cross-infection between animals and humans. Question number 6 refers to the signs of climate change. Some of the statements relate to geological phenomena that are not related to climate change. Other phenomena, however, may attribute to the impact of climate change. For example, it is known that climate change is responsible for accelerating the average rise in sea level, melting glaciers, and ocean acidification.